welcome. My name is Jody Jordan and I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and this is card 1 for the Winter Treetop Bundle, Winterly Treetop Bundle. It comes with this stamp set and these dies, and you can purchase these for 10% off if you buy the bundle together. I've got a lot of the work already done, just to make it go a little bit faster. I have, let's see, I'm doing a couple of these at a time, but I have die cut this big image right here out of the Garden Green. I'm going to be bringing in my white craft ink. And then this stamp set right here, Yuletide Village. It has these little circle snowflakes, and it matches the designer series paper that I chose with the little circles. So I'm just going to go around and stamp around all these leaves. Just stamp around the edges. Stamp the leaves, the edges. I'm basically stamping the leaves first. Now you can do stamp off if you want, or whatever you choose to do. There's no rhyme or reason to this. It's just a random stamp. Just wanted it to look real snowy to match the background, and I didn't want to have to do that flicking. I never have good luck with the flicking if you water down this ink and then try to flick it on. I never have good luck with that, so I had this stamp and I thought I'd just go ahead and stamp it on. And even if you kind of blob it, like get a blob like right there, it's kind of blob, it's not going to matter. It's just going to look like a cluster of snow. You don't have to be neat about this at all. Okay. I'm going to set these to the side because this does take a little bit. It's kind of like, it takes a little bit of time to dry. Okay, so I have my card, and this is going to be an easel card. So my card stock is cut 4 1/4 by 11, and I scored it at 2 3/4 and 5 1/2. You're going to have an inside panel that's 4 by 5 1/4. I'm just going to go ahead and glue that in. On the inside here, okay, and then if you have the kit for class, you're going to have a piece of this designer series paper and a piece of, I just have a piece of white, and we're going to just glue these together just to give this a little bit of security and to cover, it really doesn't cover up the birds, but you know, unless you're looking at it. But I did it to make the panel just a little bit sturdier. Okay, so next we're going to grab one of our panels and I'm going to put dimensionals on the back. Now for the class, I always give you guys a sheet of dimensionals. You're going to have to cut yours because your kit came with the big ones, and I'm using the smaller ones. Unless you have the smaller ones, then I think every time we have class, I always give you the bigger ones. I need to remember and get you some of the smaller ones. I'm being very generous with this because it will be very easy for this to catch. So I'm being very generous with the dimensionals to hold it in place. Okay. It doesn't matter which way you glue this down. Okay, so now what I did was this is going to lay on here, but it's there's a small border around it like this. So what I did was I got it exactly where I wanted it, and then I picked this up and then I bent the easel, and I come in here with a little pencil and just lifted it up so I know exactly where to. I don't want my glue to go any farther than that. And then I'm going to bring it back in and just center it again. Set that to the side and let it dry. So now I'm going to bring in my StazOn, my black StazOn ink, and I've got some watercolor paper here, and then I have the really large stamp. Oh. Now, if you have your StazOn, make sure you keep this little lid. If you read on there, it says "Do not discard," and that just helps keep the moisture in for your stamp pad. There's a big blob of glue on there. I'm going to go ahead and stamp two more. I'm making samples for the class, so, and these will be my actual Christmas cards, so I'm just making extra. Goes to the side. Make sure this is, I put a little rubber band on mine to make sure it stays, because I don't use this very often, so I just want to make sure it's sealed. Now, with Stays On, you have to use special cleaner. I've had this ever since I've been with Stampin' Up. I don't use Stays On that often, but it's got like a little thing on there that you rub it. And then I just take a baby wipe and wipe it off. Now you use the Stays On if you're going to do watercoloring. You use the Memento if you're going to use alcohol markers. Okay, I can set this to the side to dry. Okay, so now I'm just going to come in and I'm going to grab actually, let me finish stamping and get it all out of the way. So I have these labels. I haven't used these labels very much. They're the Unbound Love, and I use this one right here. I haven't used them very much, and I needed a label because since this is going to be the holding up the easel, I needed something. Now, the stamp set that I'm using, I'm not using any of the stamp sets. This is actually from the Paper Pumpkin. I want these to be Christmas cards. The actual stamp set, the sentiments are just mostly thank you and friend ones. So, even though I'm using this as a class, I'm bringing in other sentiments, which we always do bring other sentiments to class in case they want to stamp something else, or some of them, if I don't have something they like, then they will take it home and stamp whatever they have at home. But the Paper Pumpkin kit coordinates with this this whole suite this month, except for they're Christmas cards. So, okay, so let me get that. So the stamping's all out of the way. And now we can come in with our blocks. I'm going to do Daffodil Delight, and I'm going to do Pool Party. And then I'll also need crumb cake for that. And then for the berries, I am going to use a marker for the berries because I want them to be really a real poppin' red. So I'm going to make sure that I do that. First thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to tap my block with some blue ink. I'm going to grab I got my water painter here, and I'm just going to make sure I get it wet. But first I'm going to come through and all the areas that I want to color. I feel like this is not very wet. There we go. All the areas that I want to color, I'm going to get them wet. Then I'm going to come back in and grab my color and just kind of drop it in there. This is one of my favorite ways to color. I'm not much on the markers. I cannot make it look realistic, I guess. I don't know what my deal is, but all the shading and things, I'm not real good at it. So I typically do watercoloring when I have to color something in. I really like how cool it looks when it dries, the watercoloring. Okay, so I'm just going to come in and clean my brush. Once I see there's something or that there's clear coming out of there, I'm just going to wipe this off. And now I'm going to bring in my Daffodil Delight. Put a little color down. I didn't even need that much. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to come in here and whatever I want to be wet or I want to color, which I still got a little bit of that blue in there, but that's okay. Now I'm going to bring in my Daffodil Delight. Hopefully you don't turn it green. Okay. Let's see if I can do better about cleaning my brush. Okay, wipe this off. And now I'm going to bring in the crumb cake for the twigs. Now for this I'm going to try and get my brush at a real good point, and I'm just going to bring in just a little bit of color at a time because this is pretty fine in here, so. For the little berries, I'm just going to use a Stampin' Up marker. I really want them to be bright red, and if I use watercolor, if I use this technique or if I use even watercolor pencils, I can never get it like that bright red like I do with my marker. And since they're smaller, I'm going to just use the, I think for my red one, I have the older version of the Stampin' Up markers. Okay. So I'm just going to color these in. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can just, there can even be little white spaces. The real red is one of my, like I really, when it comes to Christmas, the cherry cobbler and the real red are just my go-tos for Christmas. I know some people like Poppy Parade, but I really like the bright red, like the berry red. Okay, and then now I'm going to grab my Wink of Stella, and I'm just going to add a little bit of sparkle. Sometimes I wait to do this after I run it through the dye machine, because I tend to not want to wait for it to dry. Okay, and then I have another Stampin' Right marker of the black, and I'm just going to color in the beak. Okay, I'm going to wipe this off because I'm going to have my hand in it, I already know. I'm going to die cut this real quick. Okay, I'm going to bring back in my, I'm going to try and tuck this right in, kind of in there, just like that, but I want it to come down. I want it to be kind of in the middle. So I'm going to put dimensionals on the back of here. Okay, there. These are the regular size. Okay, and then for our little Merry Christmas, I'm going to be generous with the dimensionals on this as well, because I do not want it to move. This is going to hold up the easel, so I put quite a bit on there. And then you just raise this up to where you think you want your card to hold down, and I try to push it all the way up and then put it down. And there you are. An easel card. Super easy. It's a little bit time consuming, but I think it's totally worth it for the card, for what you get. And I love the snowy scene. Yeah, so stay tuned for card number 2. Okay, so for card number 2, we're using this beautiful cherry cobbler and gold 1/4 inch ribbon. It's kind of, I love this ribbon, but it's kind of thin, so I'm going to do a double bow, and for the class, I did these for everyone, already made them for everyone, just so to save time. Plus, I don't really know how to do the double bow without using my 10-second bow maker, so I'm just going to go ahead and demonstrate how to do the bow. If you're interested in this, I have no affiliate with them, but you can get them from 10secondbowmaker.com. But you start like this and wrap it around. Then you crisscross just like you're going to tie your shoe and take this over. And then you get it kind of tight how you want it. And then you tie a knot. And that's it. Just that simple. And if your knot's not in the middle, you can just keep like tugging on it and it'll get it right in the middle every time. Super simple and easy. And I am so glad I got this. I can't remember how much it is, but it's like maybe $10. I don't know. Maybe 13. I can't remember exactly, but I think it might be 9 something, and then you got to pay for, shipping. But so there's the bow for our project. We're just going to use a standard card base. I'm going to go ahead and glue in the center or the inside. Okay, I have cut this sheet from the Nest of Winter Designer Series paper. Go ahead and glue that down. I made it just, I got too much glue. I'm always doing too much glue. I made this just a hair too long, and you could just cut that off. Sometimes it's better to do that because then you can make your make it even with your card for sure if you're doing the full length of the card. Because I mean, every time you cut things, it's always a little bit different. Oh, that's gonna be ugly. I'm gonna have to embellish that with something. Okay, I went ahead and cut my tag from the Greetings of the Season dies, and I am using the Greeting of the Seasons sentiment with cherry cobbler ink. I almost want to just whack that off and start over because I'm actually sending these out as my Christmas cards, so okay, all done with that. And then I'm going to go ahead and stamp this from the actual winterly treetop, which is what the class is for. I didn't use the sentiments because I wanted these to be Christmas cards, and the sentiments in here are like sending thanks, thinking of you, which the ladies can do whatever they want in the class. They can stamp whatever they want that's available. I feel like this is going to be, I get a scratch. I kind of blobbed that on there. Let's try that again. Not press so hard. Okay. All right, get that out of the way. Fix my camera a little bit. Now for this, you can use whatever markers you want. It's so small that I didn't want to use my alcohol markers, so I'm just bringing in my Stampin' Up markers. I did a little bit of the crumb cake for the stems. And I used Granny Apple Green and Garden Green for my leaves. And then Cherry Cobbler for my berries. So I'm going to do the berries real quick. This is the part that just takes forever. I thought about, you know how you design something and then you think afterwards that this would look really pretty just embossed in gold, and then maybe done like a gold trim, and then not even colored it in. I think that would have been pretty. I love heat emboss. Heat emboss is my favorite, especially in gold. I don't know what it is about the gold, but it always just pops, especially on Cherry Cobbler. But I went with this. So this is the design, and you know, like I said, you can make these at home, and it's funny how you just get ideas after you've already done something, but that's the great thing, that certain things just spark your creativity. So I could have also watercolored this, but my watercolor brushes are not this baby fine, like to get in these little small areas. So I think I chose, you know, the right thing to do with coloring with these smaller markers. I have the older version of the Stampin' Up marker. So it's definitely time consuming, but it's worth it, I think, to color it in. I probably could have made this 2 different greens since the petal has like a line in it, but I'm not gonna get into that much detail with it. this would be a perfect, if you're one of those people that really get into coloring and take your time, and you could like sit in front of the TV and do different colors. I'm definitely not one of those people. I think that's because I'm always in a hurry. Not that I generally just rush when I'm crafting. It's just I've always got a ton of things I've got to get done for projects, so I don't spend a lot of time on them, coloring them. I see a few in here that I missed, so the lighter green. And now I'm just going to go ahead and come over here and die cut this. I can find my, oh, here it is, my die. Okay, let's see. I think what I'm going to do is I am going to cut this off. Sometimes you can cover up the glue really well, but I feel like that was right in the spot where I wasn't going to put anything. So I'm just going to make another one. I am not dreading tomorrow or Friday. I'm kind of excited about it, but we're doing so much. We're doing like 3 classes in one, and one of them is a paper share. So I'm just like, first of all, carrying all that stuff, like I'm gonna have to pack like my whole craft room up. But I'm excited to see the ladies. I haven't seen them in like months. Like we always get together the last Friday of every month, and it's been a minute. Like these hurricanes have really slowed us down. Okay, I'm gonna pop this up on dimensionals. And that's another thing, since we haven't seen each other, we're going to be talking, and but that's the great thing about the class. We are scheduled to be there all day. I catered in lunch. We're going to have Olive Garden lunch, and it's going to be a great day. So just long, and I got to pack everything but the kitchen sink. All right, so I'm just putting that, and this I'm just going to glue flat. I didn't feel like it needed much dimension since I'm going to add the bow. And then I have glue dots for my bow. I love this ribbon. It's so pretty with the gold. Now, if if you want, you can leave these long or you can make them short. I'm just going to cut them kind of just before the sentiment starts. Oop. Okay. So that is our card. I still got to put the one inside, but I already showed you that. So on to the next one, card 3. Okay, so now we're going to do card 3, and let me just get my camera. Okay, so we are going to use, let me get up all the things that we're going to use here. If I can find them. All right, so I'm going to use the Christmas labels with the Christmas label dies. This label specifically, and the one that says Merry Christmas to You. We're going to use the Nest of Winter DSP, and then we're going to use this Timber 3D embossing folder. Now, in the catalog, I'm totally regretting not getting this after seeing other people's cards. This is, what is it called? Birchwood 3D embossing folder. It's definitely one I wish I would have bought. But I didn't. I can't always get everything. So I had this, the Timber 3D, and that's what I'm going to use. Okay, so where's my embossing? Here it is. Okay. So all I'm going to do is I'm just taking this strip and I'm going to glue it down here at the bottom. Come on, glue. Okay, I'm not even messing with glue. I'm going to use my, which half the time I can't get this to work. Okay. All right, so just going to the bottom here. And I did a full panel to cover the whole entire front of the card, so it's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And then I'm gonna do a little bit of adhesive here. Maybe. Okay. Take my ribbon. Tack it down there. I am going to put just a tiny bit of adhesive right here in the middle. I tried glue, but in my last card, but I can kind of tell that it showed up a little bit, so I'm just going to put just a teeny bit of adhesive there just to hold this down in the middle. And I'm going to snip that off. Now, on here, there's, if you get a little bit of adhesive on your card that you don't want, because that tape runner's a little wide, you can use your eraser if you have one. You can get those from the Dollar Tree or pretty much anywhere. Amazon. We used to sell them, but we don't have them anymore. Okay, if I can get this just to work. You could use dimensionals if you want. I always have whenever I make the panel the complete size of the card, I never have good luck lining it up with the dimensionals. So now you want to start at the top where your fold is, because you can always trim off the bottom if your measurement is off just a little bit. Got that glue, like a chunk of glue. Okay, and then I've already got this ready for the stamp. I'm using the cherry cobbler ink to match the ribbon. And then I'm just going to take some seal on the back here, and I have this, let me put this ink up before I have it everywhere. I have this, we used to sell this, I forget what it's even called, like it's like a thread, almost like a gold threading. We don't sell it anymore, but I have a ton of it in my stash because I liked it. And I'm just going to make like a figure 8 with it, make a few little loops. Just to give some added interest to the card. I'm not going to put like a bunch of them everywhere. I'm just going to have a few. My fingers are so sticky. I don't know why. And then some dimensionals on the back of here. You have to be a little bit careful with this cutout or die cut, because it's kind of, with all these little holes, it's very fragile. And you can pick how far over you want to go. Depends on how big you make your loops, but I kind of am staying more to the right. And then I gotta put my piece in the inside. And then you can put your gems wherever you want. I haven't decided. The gems that I bought for this, I haven't put any gems on any of the cards that I've demoed, because the ones that I got went with the paper, but it was like they didn't give me Christmas vibes. So I'm thinking I'm going to give you these clear ones, and we can just color them like the cherry cobbler or the red. I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet, but it'll be in your kit when you get your card. I got this kind of off a little bit, but anyways, it's fine. But that's card 3. Thanks for watching. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.